Online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
American Bank has been serving Waco since 1952, and we're just getting started. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Over the past few years, we've been busy investing in new technology to give you the best banking experience possible. We've also expanded our downtown branch and built 2 state-of-the-art buildings at our Woodway and Bellmead locations. With bright open lobbies, plus fast, personal, interactive teller machines, everyone in Waco is now just minutes away from face-to-face banking. Visit us today and see how we're invested in serving you at American Bank. Member FDIC.
Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, hand or wrist injury, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trusts. Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
Automatic Chef Canteen is a full-service micro-market vending and office coffee provider with state-of-the-art vending equipment, a wide variety of products, and offering custom-fitted micro-market vending office coffee solutions for your employee break room. You want a full break room solution and a workplace oasis? Well, Automatic Chef Canteen, locally owned and operated for over 50 years in Central Texas, also includes in-house mechanics on call 24/7 for fast, reliable service and maintenance. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automaticchefcanteen.com.
Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
All right, here we go, this 3 o'clock hour. Alabama added a field goal right now, 10-3 over Cincinnati.
Ball game.
A minute into the second quarter, Cincinnati right now being sacked, so we'll keep you up with that. But right now, Alabama 10-3. Gilbrand, the Hall of Famer. I mean, in every way possible. A Hall of Famer for this show, and a Hall of Famer in Pro Football's Hall of Fame and elsewhere as well. Gil, it's a pleasure and honor to have you every time we do. Your thoughts so far on what you've seen with Alabama, Cincinnati?
Well, you know, I tell you what, I'm surprised at Alabama all of the time how well they play and how well they're prepared. You know, you always want to go with the underdog and say, this underdog is going to beat this team today and so forth. But they don't beat themselves. You know, they kick the field goal and just a guy moved just a trifle bit. And it was called back, and they had to kick it from 5 yards further, and they did. The quarterback is playing very, very good. The running game is very good. I would say that they run the ball better than I thought they would. But I think maybe sometimes when you look at Cincinnati, they're a good team. They're a good team playing against lesser teams. Is what they are. I think they, 22 for 22. They're probably just a little smaller, a little slower. But I think this will be a very good game. And I think that one of the things that we all neglect is congratulating Jerry Jones on that stadium that he built. I mean, people love to come here. The games are great. It's great for the city. It's just great for everybody, and it shows off that we do nothing but the best in Texas.
Gil, what are your thoughts on Luke Fickell and the job he's done at Cincinnati?
Well, let me tell you about Luke Fickell. I for many years used to help pick the East-West squad in Palo Alto, California. We used to play, and we had Fickell in a game one time. So I met him quite some time ago. I met him when he was, 22 years old. He was at Ohio State. I think he conducts the game like it's supposed to be. I think he's a very, very good coach. I think what he wants to do is get to Ohio State or someplace, and he's not going to just jump and take any job. But, he got a quarterback out of Louisville, Kentucky, that didn't start as a freshman. I think I redshirted him, I forget which. And they've got a couple good corners, and I like the makeup of their team. Like the corners are both over 6 foot tall, big guys. And that's what you got. If you're a lesser team, and when I say a lesser team, a lesser Power 5 conferences or however you want to refer to it, get big guys. Get big guys at corner that can make plays. Get big guys at offensive tackle that can make plays. And I think that's what he's done. And he's taken those big boys and developed them, is what he has. Good character kids, smart kids. I think you'll see him moving on to a big job. And especially after we see the money that these last couple of signings have brought. I don't know if there's another another Miami out there. They tell me at Miami that the medical school, made $400 million. And one day the president looked at the books and he said, hey, we got to spend some of this money to improve our football program. And they went from a struggling program financially to a program that's now paying $9 million a year for the head coach. So I think that's what he's probably looking for. But I know he's a good coach and a good guy.
Gil, what are your thoughts on the other semifinal matchup? Michigan there with Aiden Hutchinson. He's looking like in a lot of mock drafts right now, at least one of the top, if not the top prospect in the draft. But Georgia awfully loaded as well. What are your thoughts on that game coming up?
Well, I think that the two guys at the top are the Oregon guy and the Michigan guy. I like the Michigan guy just because he's got one heck of a good-looking mother. and as long as we're going to draft players, you better check those mothers out too. I'm just kidding about that, but I think he's the best guy. I think he's the best guy. And he was hurt last year, Hutchinson. He played this year. He moves around and makes plays. He's the guy. He's the guy you want to have on your team because he'll be your starter at the position for the next 8 or 9 years. Is what he'll be.
Gil,
be a difference maker.
What are your thoughts on what you've seen in such a short amount of time? We know what Dave Aranda and where he has been, what he's done at Wisconsin, LSU, and then last year was so unique for so many people with 2-7. But where he is and what he's done, and as a head coach, because there were thoughts that again, you never know. But your thoughts on Dave Aranda?
But you're right. You never know, and he's exceeded my expectations. Let me say that. I think he's a heck of a football player. I think he's a guy that's a stable guy. I think they do a great coaching job. And they take players like number 8 or 9, one of those two safeties, I forget which one, is really a good player. And I think they've done a good job of coaching them, preparing them for the games. They don't get a lot of penalties. They're not guys, a bunch of hot dogs. I think the Baylor program is tremendous. I think what he's done is tremendous. I mean, it's come a long way in the last 10 years, and it's come a lot farther in the last 2.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Petrie. It looks like Gil, he may be probably playing his last game tomorrow. He was a guy who was one of the more unheralded signees at the time, and he's kind of how do guys view people like him who is kind of in college a safety / linebacker / nickel / I mean, where do you think a guy like him sort of fits in, especially with all of his experience in playmaking?
Well, I think this draft is a draft that's it got a lot of players in it because it's really a double draft because of last year we only had 800 people declare for a draft. So normally we have 1,500. So we have a lot of those 700 left that are pretty good players. I don't think it's strong a draft at the top, and I think it's between 1 1 in 14 or 15. I think it's about the same as last year, minus the quarterback. I don't think we have the quarterbacks that we had last year, which we never know. But I do think that the overall this draft will be very, very good. And if you're looking for a pass rusher, there's some good pass rushers in this draft that you got a chance to get. There's an offensive lineman at Mississippi State that I like a lot. I don't think he played. I think 3 of those Mississippi State offensive linemen didn't play last night. But that's the thing that worries me a lot is 2 and 3 guys on teams not playing in games. And as I say, because he wants to start working on his pro game. You know, if you're worried about getting hurt, don't go walk on the street because you might step off the curb and hurt yourself. So I think when it tells me, does a guy really love football, or does he want to do something that's better for himself? And I don't like guys that are not team players. I like guys that want to do something that's better for them, better for the whole team.
Gil, you knew John Madden for a long time very well, obviously, and a giant in the NFL and changed the way that people watch football and people take it in and learn about football because of the video game. What were your thoughts on his legacy and what he left behind for football fans?
He started a trend of everything. And I'll tell you a story, and I don't think any one of you are old enough to remember this. We used to have, instead of scholarships, we used to have tryouts. So John Madden, if you say, and prior to this week, they always indicated that he went to Oregon. And that's right, he went to Oregon. What happened is in the old days, they'd have these tryouts, and they'd put them in school and give them books and everything and try them out. And if they were good enough, then they had a scholarship. If not, they just got a free year of academic advancement to the graduation. But anyway,